Man, we got a lot going on today. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Animal Crossing New Leaf. Welcome, Amiibo. Our house looks kind of dumb as it is. But you know what? That's fine. We have mail from Jeremiah. You helped me with a crossword puzzle. What's a 9-letter word for a type of puzzle that uses clues to fill in missing words? Starts with the letter C. I don't know, man. It's a pretty hard one. And Brofina. She's taking the time to send me a letter and a gift. By some coincidence, I also picked out a present for you while I was out shopping. Hope it tickles your fancy. I hope it does too. I mean, I'd rather have you stick around, but, you know. What we got? A regal dresser. Very fancy. I need to put this paper away before I forget to. Very smart. Let me, get to here, put this away. Find some space in here, put this away. There we go. And yes, it's like usual, I've just woken up. I had intended to be up a little sooner, but sleeping happened. I mean, that's really the best way I can put it, is just sleeping happened. Like, I ended up waking up initially when I had planned to, and then I just didn't get out of bed. Like, that's what happened. It was just like, here I am. Okay. Yeah, let's stop in and see Fuchsia. Fuchsia! I also have some donuts to look forward to after I'm done recording, so that's pretty nice. Whoa, Pookie. This is unexpected. I got nothing to offer you, but hang out if you want, sister. So, is there something you need from me? Let's chat. Oh, guess what? Profina's moving away. When I asked where, she said she hasn't decided. That's so like her, sister. Oh, so she didn't even have anywhere picked out. She's just moving. Oh. That honestly makes me feel worse about the whole thing. Our bro is just moving. Also just sitting here being like, don't ramble about warships again. But I kind of want to ramble about warships again. How's your afternoon? What do you want to talk about? What's the latest? I adore living alone. Seems like the grown-up thing to do, but I was so nervous when I arrived in town. It's really me, right? I managed to make some friends. Awesome friends like Fuchsia and us. So now instead of feeling like she lives by herself, she feels like she's living with all her best friends. That is fair. This will be another bamboo shoot. Yeah, this one will never grow there, so. Hello, Carlos. Hoping to see us. Something up. There is. Hey, I've been hearing rumors that you're a civic leader. So jealous. So wish I could get involved. I wish I could be involved in some scandals just so people would talk about me. I mean, am I really involved in scandals? Well, I mean, technically. this is a bit of a funny story for me. I'm pretty sure I have been added to, like, a no-comment list from a World of Warships YouTuber. Or at least, like, one where he has to approve any of my comments, which is just funny to me. Alright, let's come in and see Brofina. Hello, Brofina. Oh, she's wearing her new shirt. Hey, Steven, did you stop by to check on me? It's sweet of you. You've been a good friend, which is why this is kind of sad. Decided to move away. It's for the best. You'll stay in touch, right? Man, I wish I could. The day they have that as a feature for Animal Crossing, I will be very happy. Like, I would love to be able to keep in touch with, like, the animals that move out. That would be so nice. But we can't. Because Nintendo hates us. No, that would be a lot of stuff for the game to keep track of, and I'm pretty sure it does keep track of, like, old animals anyway, but also, like, mailbox space, and, like, there is a lot of limitations in these games that would make doing that quite difficult. We've completed our hammock. It's a good thing that wasn't the money rock, because I just noticed that there's a violet creeping up into the space. Yeah, get that planted there. It's our new cat machine. Get 4 coupons today. No one at the campsite. But we do have this hammock. Ah, hammock. Can we land it either way, or is it always that way? It's always that way. Okay, I mean, that's fine. I actually didn't know that. If I had known that, I would have tried to get it positioned the other way around. But, it's fine. I'll deal with our coffee in a moment. Hello, Leaf. Hey, it's the last Friday of April. That means it's weeding day. Very last day of April is a special day where people pitch in and help to pull all the weeds all over town. But Sapphire's already nice and tidy, clean and happy. We don't need any weeding at all. And the mayor of a clean-loving town of Sapphire, a special cleanup award. You can decorate the town with topiaries I designed myself. Let Miss Isabel know all about it if you want a topiary up as a public works project. Yay! I mean, technically there are dandelions everywhere, but, like, those aren't exactly weeds, so. But yeah, I may as well explain what happened. To the best of my knowledge, with me getting basically put on a approved comment list kind of thing, a requirement of approved comments. You guys know what I mean. Like, my comments on this guy's videos have to be approved now, it seems. And that YouTube just completely derped out, because it does do that from time to time too. So I don't want to assume, you know, too much. It does seem like I need my comments approved now. Basically, this guy was complaining about what he thought was lucky RNG from an enemy carrier, when in reality what he was looking at was just the carrier being a skilled carrier player. And someone else pointed that out, and I replied to that person pointing out that, well, this guy doesn't play carriers, so it's no wonder he doesn't know how they work. And I also made a subtle jab at a comment that the creator himself had made years ago, and I will agree, it was years ago. Get another silver. Yes, another silver slingshot. Now I have 2 of them. I am unstoppable. But he had basically made a comment years ago saying that effectively only good players should have a say in the balance of the game, which was an incredibly, not only just naive thing to say, but also just an incredibly toxic thing to say. And he seemed to take offense to me bringing that up again, because this isn't the first time I mention it. The time capsule I had you bury? I think it'd be fun to open it. Please take it up and bring it to me. Can't wait to see what's inside. Wait, I would have buried it by your house, and I did not see a dig spot down there. Oh no. Oh no, here it is. Okay. I just didn't see it down here earlier. I'm kind of blind. It's great that we have so many chances to chat. So, what can I do for you? Capsule time! There you are! Time capsule! Ooh, thank you! Let's open it and take a look. Look, my director's chair! I thought I'd lost that. Oh, I wrote a letter. Shall we read it? To me with the capsule. They say absence makes the heart grow fonder, so I'm sure the moment you see this again will be a beautiful memory for future me to look back on. Can't wait. So when you look back on what I wrote, it's also kind of embarrassing. And now let me give you a present. We need to have my classic desk. Alright. Thank you, Sky. Hey, Jeremiah and Carlos have been made happy. How's it going? That was a bad sentence. Watch out! Today's a perfect day for cleaning. Not just here, but everywhere. So it might be fun to visit other towns and pitch in on the weeding there, too. I mean, it would be. If I could. Sadness. It's no wonder Mott's inside. It's a day for cleaning. Our boy Mott doesn't clean. He lives in a wreck. I say that as if my room isn't worse than Mott's, but ignore that. I mean my IRL room, not my in-game room. I got him. But, like, I will admit that maybe, like, my bringing up this guy's comments in the past was maybe a little too much, but at the same time, like, to my knowledge, he has never addressed that he apparently has changed his tune on that. Like, now, I will fully admit I could have easily missed the video he did it in, and if he did it on live stream, I'm sorry, that doesn't exactly count. His live stream does not get as many viewers as his videos do, and definitely don't get as many views as his Carriers Shouldn't Exist in World of Warships video did. Huh? Don't know how to keep your room all clean. It's obvious, isn't it? Use something, you gotta put it back. If you get something out, you put it away, whatever you were using before. Follow the rule, and the number of things you can have out never changes, right? It's that simple. You're so right! Wow, Lobo, you're like super smart. Makes so much sense. Isn't there a phrase I can use at a time like this? Something that means I feel so great now that I know the answer. Ah, it's on the tip of my tongue. Seen the light? Well, that's it. I've seen the light. Oh man, that bites. So close to remembering it too. Oh, I never thought I'd hear those words come into your mouth. All you need was a few minutes. You were close, you'll get it next time. Oh, thanks. So sweet of you. I'm not gonna see the light, I'm gonna see tears. Aw. Little sweeties. But like, and I will even say, like, there's no chance the dude's ever gonna see this video. He doesn't seem like an Animal Crossing kind of guy. But, like, if you are ever watching, my Canadian Warships friend, the main reason why, like, that sort of comment annoys me, and it kind of goes to everybody, this explanation goes to everybody, like, that sort of mindset of, man, only the good players get a say, annoys me as someone who used to play not only StarCraft 2 competitively, but Pokemon competitively. All opinions matter. Because, like, basically, let's just use, because it's easier to explain this stuff in terms of StarCraft. A Bronze League player might come to me, a low Masters League player, and be like, hey, I think you're doing this wrong. And they might be right. If I don't hear them out, I'll never know. And they could honestly be pointing out something to me that I'm doing that I've never noticed I'm doing. And they could legitimately help me improve. Something I think is a bad unit or a bad thing, well, maybe I'm just using it wrong. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong. Like, now in the case of something like StarCraft 2, it's a lot smaller in scope and thus a lot easier for the better players to pinpoint the best things. But even then, there are some top-level StarCraft 2 players that do things that are completely off the walls, use things that no one in their right mind should be using. Same goes for StarCraft Brood War. I mean, White Raw became, like, god-tier StarCraft player with his special tactics. Like, effectively meaning using things that no one ever uses. Generally being carriers. And winning. Like, when it comes to Pokemon, I've noticed the Pokemon community getting into this mindset too of like, only the best players should have a say over what people, what gets used and what rules get made for the various Smogon tiers. It's like, no, they shouldn't. I've always hated that part of Smogon competitive. Especially because, like, when you do give too much power to the, oh, right, I can't buy. I was coming in here to buy a tree. Couldn't you take over selling for him for the day? Okay. But, like, Smogon competitive is actually the best example of when you give the good players too much power to decide things. Also, what happens when you give a council too much power to decide things, but that's an extra problem. Ugh, excuse me. Hello, Nook. I'll deal with this first. Welcome. It's Steven. Good to see you. Your edition is finished. It's that much more homier. Our business numbers. The trifling cost of your edition comes to 348,000 bells. Pocket change, really? We can't accept our money. We have to make our payments at the post office automatic bell dispenser. But, like, with a lot of, like, Smogon competitive, like, tier changes, those are, outside of emergency bans, those are done by usage. So that's fine. It's more the big rule changes that really make a huge difference to how the game is played, but that the majority of players don't get a chance to make decisions on, and generally things get banned because they'll end up making one or two competitive players salty. Like, there's an item in Pokemon that smoke. I'm just gonna sell the second Silver Slingshot. We don't need two of them. There is an item in Pokemon called the Focus Band. This is not like the Focus Sash. It is not a guaranteed chance to keep your Pokemon alive if it would die from full health. The Focus Band is always a 10% chance to keep your Pokemon alive, so a 1 in 10. This item was banned from Smogon Competitive because it was too luck-based, and basically, from the stories I've heard since the ban happened, there was, like, 1 or 2 incidents where a competitive player felt like they would have won had the opponent not been using a Focus Band, and thus that meant the focus band was too luck dependent and it had to be banned. Even though it was an item that almost no one was using. It was a niche item. It's not like it was actually seeing common use. It was a niche thing that some people were trying out for fun. But because it was fun, and it had the potential to steal some games, nah, had to ban it. Like, I can slightly understand the banning of accuracy modification, but that's just because accuracy modification in Pokemon are frustrating. And yeah, an accuracy modifying item like a Bright Powder could really swing a battle. Get your full team equipped with Bright Powders, and you stand a really good high chance of just dominating your opponent by luck. And it's it's a much higher chance than a 1 in 10. Like, that's what happens when you let competitive players have too much say. Is unnecessary bans that just reduce variety and make the game less fun happen. Because, when you have a group of people that only care about winning, obviously they're only going to care about winning. And if something might hinder them at winning, they want it gone. Take a new ruling with Pokemon of there's now a ban on sleep moves across the board. And initially everyone was like, oh man, the big Spore Mons, which Spore is a move with 100% accuracy that always puts the opponent to sleep. That's all it does. It's learned by some pretty slow, bulky grass types, basically. Everyone was like, oh man, these Pokemon will still find a niche because, they can do X or Y. I think every single Sporemon has dropped at least 1 or 2 tiers since Spore was banned. Because that's all they were being used for. And when there's no longer a good reason to use these Pokemon, no one uses them. The funny thing is, with the Sleep Clause change, there are some sleep moves that still exist, and some abilities that can still put you to sleep. Those are still allowed. And with the removal of these, with the sleep ban being added in, they also removed the Sleep Clause, which prevented you from from putting more than one opposing Pokemon to sleep at a time. Part of their reasoning for removing, or for this sleep ban, which is probably the weakest part of the whole thing, is that, oh, well, they can't enforce the Smogon rules in the actual video games. Nah, imagine that. The players have to enforce it. But, let's be real, there's very few actual tournaments that happen on physical games played under Smogon rules. So, where's the problem? And even then, if there is an actual tournament being played under Smogon rules, presumably you would be wanting, the replay files of the battles. So if an opponent broke a core rule, like the Sleep Clause, you submit the replay or just submit a video recording of the battle or whatever you feel like doing and get the person disqualified for breaking the rules. That's what rules are there for. I'm getting way off topic of warships, but that's just to explain what my perspective on why I hate that mentality of, oh, only the good players should have a say. It's no, the good players should have a say, and, their opinion should be held with slightly higher weight than, someone who's completely garbage at the game. But both opinions have merit. Especially using World of Warships as an example, because you can find many an anecdote of people saying, man, I tried to get my friend to play the game, and then they encountered aircraft carriers, and they ended up quitting because they thought aircraft carriers were bull and that they couldn't beat them, and you know they felt like they were just a damage for the carrier, even though I don't doubt that happens. I doubt it happens as often as people say it does without them sitting by their friend going, man, that's bullshit. You know. Like, I feel like these people are influencing their friends' decisions a little bit. You know. But, like, equally, you can find just as many, if not more, anecdotes of new players trying the game for the first time without being introduced to the game by a friend, just trying the game, rage quitting because of how the situation is with low-tier destroyers. A good player in a low-tier destroyer that can stealth torpedo, meaning can fire their torpedoes and hit targets without being detected. A good player that can do that will absolutely dominate low-tier battles because there's nothing to detect them. Except the enemy destroyers, of which a good player will, one, have a pretty good idea where the enemy destroyers are going to go. Noobs are pretty predictable. And even then, will generally wait for the enemy destroyer to make a mistake, get itself killed, and then go buck wild just wrecking the enemy team. Because there's nothing left to stop them. Like, I was one of those players. I almost quit the game over how low-tier destroyers are. I kept going because I was having fun whenever I wasn't getting completely harassed and destroyed by destroyers that I could do nothing about. The fun thing is, the carrier rework that changed carriers from a real-time strategy game into what they are now, which is a lot closer to surface ship combat. Like, that change, making carriers more common, more or less fixed my issue. Because the carrier could now spot those destroyers. Here's the fossil. How did I miss that? I don't know. Oh well. But, like, it's just one of those things of, like, the carrier changes, yeah, they made life harder for destroyers, especially at first, because there was no delay on firing rockets, and admittedly, it was still difficult to get rockets on target from some ships, because some of them just have a really long aiming time on their rockets. But, and a lot of destroyers have really small concealments when they have their AA off. A lot of destroyers initially didn't realize you could turn your AA off. Made things a bit harder for them, you know. But, like, destroyers made life hard for literally everybody else. And, like, when you hear destroyer mains talking about what they want out of, like, a carrier nerf, they basically want things to go back to when carriers weren't being played, so they never had to worry about being spotted from the air, and they can go back to being basically unstoppable damage machines with no reasonable counters. Like, because that's kind of the position destroyers are in. Like, the only, outside of carriers, the only counters to destroyers are other destroyers and radar cruisers. Now, when you look at the grand scheme of cruisers, there are 3 tech trees that always have radar. Or not 3. There's 3, 4, 5. There's 5 that always have radar. Of those, 3 of them are useful. That's where the 3 comes in. There is a fourth useful line with radar, but it has the choice of radar or a smokescreen. And for itself, the smokescreen's better. So, like, yeah, why would you ever run the radar when the smokescreen is just better for you? You know, it's that kind of thing. So I should come water these flowers up here because we do need to start getting them filled in a bit. I went the wrong way. So, like, you're limited to a very small pool of the cruisers, of the tech trees anyway, that have radar. There's a few premiums. There's more premiums than tech tree ships with radars. But, like, that's a bit imbalanced, isn't it? If you have to basically say, oh, if you want to reasonably counter destroyers, you have to play one of these 3 tech trees, basically. I think that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? Like, if that is your only recourse, is to limit yourself to very few tech trees, while destroyers almost across the board can do whatever they want, because almost all of them can stealth torpedo. There's only a few exceptions that can't, and the ones that can't tend to be better gunboats than a lot of cruisers are. Like, it's a little disheartening, honestly. And you really see this in action at low tier, because radars don't start until tier 7. And at tier 7, they only start because of premiums. You don't see many radars at tier 7, because the only ships at tier 7 with radar are premiums. You have to pay money for them. And, well, a lot of people just haven't. Also, I'm a bit congested, so I apologize if it sounds like I'm congested. So, like, you really see the strength of destroyers before, you know, tier 8 kind of thing. Which is when radars start in the tech trees. And they're ridiculous. Like, I'm not a good destroyer player. I can dominate games at low tier in a destroyer because I understand how to play the game. You don't have to be good in destroyers to understand how to play the game and to be really good at curb stomping low tiers with them. Like, yeah, really wish I wasn't this congested. But yeah, I've rambled a long time. I should probably get things ended off. I love. I just want to say, like, I love that I have things in my town now that are that tie me closer to my current girlfriend. Like, it's so nice. I love it. I love it a lot. Which, you know what, I'm gonna do an odd thing. I'm gonna end the video up here because I can. And we have a nice place to like just lay down and enjoy the sun. So yeah, I'm getting things up here. Thank you all very much for watching, and hopefully I shall see you back here tomorrow for more Animal Crossing New Leaf Welcome Amiibo. See you all then!